General Mills says trace amounts of pesticides are found in the majority of food we all eat, and the
Look what's happening to our food.
Most consumers are unaware that the fruit they eat from the supermarket has been treated with a product called Smart Fresh. Now before I get into what Smart Fresh is, I want you to see it in action. First they place the fruit in a hermetically sealed chamber, then they drop the Zyklon B, Smart Fresh, into some water to form a gas, and then they lock up the gas chamber nice and tight. They leave the fruit there for about 24 hours so that it can soak up all the gas, and voila, your fruit has been contaminated. Smart Fresh. Now let's look at an apple that's been treated with Smart Fresh and compare it to an apple that hasn't been treated with Smart Fresh. This time-lapse video shows the changes over 3 months. As you can see, the Smart Fresh apple hasn't changed a bit. Most people don't even realize that the fruit they buy at the grocery store can literally be a year old before it's actually sold, and you wouldn't know the difference. Let's see what the makers of Smart Fresh have to say about their product. They say the active ingredient of Smart Fresh is methyl cyclopropene, or MCP. They describe it as a simple hydrocarbon molecule. Well, that sounds perfectly innocent, doesn't it? A simple hydrocarbon. What could be wrong with that? Well, examples of simple hydrocarbons are as follows: butane, propane, and even hexane. It turns out they're gassing the fruit with petroleum-based products, ladies and gentlemen. Now they just call it a simple hydrocarbon so that nobody worries about it. Who doesn't like a little diesel with their fruit, right? Their website also states that this can be used with other fruits and vegetables. Yum, yum, yum. Safe and effective for eradicating rodents and the population. If pesticides don't get you, Smart Fresh will, my friends. Smart Fresh is authorized for use with organic foods, because nothing screams organic like spraying hydrocarbons on your fruits and vegetables. And the worst part here is that people are totally unaware. Of course, the makers of Smart Fresh don't actually show you what Smart Fresh is on their website. They do, however, show you pictures of unsuspecting consumers smiling as they eat this nasty cocktail of pesticides and petrochemical additives. And it's all perfectly legal. Imagine eating GMOs that are sprayed with pesticides and then treated with Smart Fresh. What could go wrong there? Not only that, but the makers of Smart Fresh also make other exciting products that can be used before the harvest season. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
This is a mango, and it look fake. It feel fake. Like, I'm beyond pissed. And this is like, look at this. This is GMO. I'm gonna give it a big no. Like,
yeah, exactly. And this is why I say none of you are vegetarians, none of you are vegans, none of you are eating real food. And I'm gonna show it to you here. Now look, this is an organic pear, but on the pear you see the label, right? You see these labels they put on it. It says trust. Well, can we really trust it? Now, if you look at the number there, if you can see it on the live, can you see it? All right. If you look at the number there, it's designated by a 9, an 8, or a 4. If it's a 4, it's pesticides, right? So it's conventionally raised, which means it's on a regular farm. There's no real regulation. They can do whatever they need to do to grow that fruit or vegetable for you. If it's an 8 designated in front of that, on that number on the sticker, it means it's genetically modified, okay? Which means that it's been altered in some way, shape, or form, either at the genetic level or through the use of pesticides and chemicals to cause an alteration later on down the line once you consume it. GMO is going out the window, so you will no longer see GMO on your foods anymore. The new term you need to look for is bioengineered. So when you go to your store today or tomorrow, whenever you go back to the store, look at all the food products, look at the back, and you're going to see bioengineered. You won't see GMO anymore. It's another trick to trick you out of your health. Then the next designation is organic. And for a long time, we thought organic was safe. Organic is no longer safe. This pair here is designated as organic because it has a 9 on the sticker. So this is the designation. I'm going to tell you why organic is no longer safe and why you and I are truckitarians. We're no longer eating real food. In 1996, a chemical was produced called MCP. MCP, and it stands for methylcyclopropene. Write this down. Methylcyclopropene. And methylcyclopropene is a petrochemical. It's a petrochemical that is used to preserve the shelf life of your fruits and your vegetables. In 1996 was when it was founded and patented. But in 2002, the Environmental Protection Agency decided, and the FDA, to put this into our food supply. So, this MCP, under a technology called Smart Fresh, is used to preserve the shelf life of your fruits and vegetables as long as 2 to 3 years. Hear me, 2 to 3 years, which means the fruits and the vegetables that you are consuming can be as old as 3 years. Do you understand? And you notice if you pay attention to the fruits that you've been consuming, they just don't seem to decompose. What's the problem with MCP under this technology called Smart Fresh? The problem is when you infuse fruits and vegetables and our food supply with blockers that block microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, and other organisms, you cause a serious problem in the human body. Because when you consume these fruits and vegetables that have been chemicalized with these blockers, they also block the natural microorganisms that are in your colon, which means they block your probiotics, which are very important for your immune system. They block other organisms within your colon that help you digest your food and therefore set you up on the path for disease. These are very, very dangerous because it triggers an immune response when you consume it. The problem is that we haven't been told that they were using this MCP into our food supply. If you are a vegetarian or vegan or a carnivore, please know that the organic foods that you have been eating for the last 20 years are not real foods. They are synthetics. And that is why I always harp on this channel to grow your own food. I'm not saying that to be trendy. I'm really saying that because you can really go nowhere else to get your food anymore but your own backyard, minus the chemtrails and the other crap that they're spraying, but at least you have a chance. With these foods, it is destroying your complete endocrine system, it destroys your complete sensory system, and it shuts down your natural gut microbiome and your probiotics. This is a serious problem that has to be dealt with. So what's the reason for all this? I told you, all treasures are buried. We have to dig for them. Why are they using this MCP on our food supply? Why are they trying to downregulate our probiotics in our gut? Because when you downregulate probiotics in the gut, you affect something very, very important. You disrupt the pineal gland. You disrupt the pineal gland. When you disrupt the pineal gland, now you're causing serious damage because you're not only affecting the organism's ability to heal, but you're affecting the organism's ability to produce melatonin. And melatonin is a critical byproduct, a critical factor for overall health and immunity. This is what they're trying to get at. calcify the pineal gland, destroy the entire system and your sensory perception. The pineal gland functions as your sensory perception. If your sensory perception is off, you won't be able to see or anticipate other attacks against the human body. Let's get into it.
You may start to see something new on food labels. The word bioengineered will replace the old term GMO.
Consumer reporter Susan Hogan is working for you to explain this change so that you can make some smart and healthy choices for your family.
Well, that's right. Both the new term bioengineered and the one it's replacing, GMO, refer to foods that have had their DNA altered to either enhance their nutritional value or make them resistant to disease. So if you pay attention to food labels, you've probably seen GMO on some products made with food like corn and soybeans, foods like canola oil or sugar. But now GMO will be called bioengineered on food labels. The changes are part of the USDA's new rules that went into effect this year to create a national standard for labeling. The words mean the same thing, but some critics say because GMOs have a bad rap, changing the name is somewhat deceitful to consumers.
Now they suddenly decide, oh, we're not going to call it GMO anymore. We're going to call it BE, bioengineered, right? So that's already hiding the fact. Most people don't know what bioengineered is. They'll see it on their label and say, well, I don't know what that means.
So here's what the new labeling is going to look like. For example, this cereal box, which is now in compliance, lets you know right there on the labeling that it contains bioengineered ingredients. Or some products will display labels like these. And under the new labeling laws, food manufacturers also have the option to simply put a QR code like this one on its packaging. So now the burden is on you to scan it in order to see whether there are bioengineered ingredients in the product you want to buy. Some food safety groups claim this discriminates against a huge population of consumers.
Approximately 1/3 of Americans, we're talking about 100 million people here, or over 100 million people, don't have the smartphones. It's primarily the elderly, people of low income, which is often people of color. They are actually locked out altogether. They won't get anything. They won't even get the BE or bioengineer or even the QR code because they can't access that.
Well, a hidden danger could be lurking in your cereal.
An environmental advocacy group saying several popular breakfast foods contain a chemical that some believe causes cancer.
Cancer-causing chemicals found in cereal. This is a scary sounding story that has a lot of people talking on social media, but we do want to clear it up for you at this point.
There's really no reason consumers should have to worry about whether they're getting a dose of glyphosate with their breakfast every morning.
That was the Environmental Working Group's Scott Faber in August, talking about a study his group commissioned that found the weed killer glyphosate in dozens of breakfast products.
We're very concerned that consumers are eating more glyphosate than they know.
Now, a second round of testing shows 28 more samples analyzed contain glyphosate residues, 10 samples from General Mills Cheerios products, and 18 samples from Quaker brand products ranging from instant oatmeal to snack bars. 26 of the samples came back with residue levels higher than what the group believes is safe for children. So what does it mean for you that glyphosate residues are found in such a wide range of products? Well, the Environmental Working Group says glyphosate shouldn't be there, that it may not be safe for your health. Manufacturers look at it differently. General Mills says trace amounts of pesticides are found in the majority of food we all eat, and the company follows the very strict rules set by the FDA and EPA, who determine the safe levels for food products. Quaker told us that any minimal levels of glyphosate that may remain in finished products are significantly below regulatory limits and well within compliance of the safety standards. But the World Health Organization says glyphosate is a probable carcinogen in humans, and the state of California lists it as a chemical known to the state to cause cancer.
I find the results of this report concerning.
Dr. Philip Landrigan, a pediatrician and one of the world's experts on children's environmental health, advises parents to move away from brands containing glyphosate and buy organic products for their children that do not contain the chemical.
Children are exquisitely vulnerable to toxic chemicals such as glyphosate. Even a tiny dose that would probably be harmless to an adult carries much greater risk for a child.
Monsanto, which sells products containing glyphosate, says the study is misleading. It says the chemical is safe and does not cause cancer, and that adults would have to eat huge quantities of these foods every day to exceed the EPA's limit for glyphosate exposure. General Mills says food safety is a top priority, and Quaker stands by its products. Anna Werner, CBS News, New York.